The following stories came from the Ask section of Reddit. What are your scariest stories? Number 1. When my cousin told me the world of Facebook that she was moving to Madrid, Spain, I tried to be happy for her and ignore the wave of paranoia that washed over me. What I assumed must have been a job offer, as she is an independent filmmaker, turned out to be something quite different. My Freebird cousin had fallen in love with a foreign actor, and he was moving into his cozy villa for an event. Okay, so at the point, the hairs literally stood on the back of my neck. This actor is not internationally recognized, but he does have a small, rather forbidding following in Spain, Portugal, and oddly enough, Egypt. When I did a quick Google search, there he was, an impossibly handsome man who must have been at least 25 years older than my cousin. Let's call her Monica. I find it weird that she would make posts and tag him in them, but he would never say a word. I wanted his Facebook page, and there was nothing to indicate that he was in love. He was covered in pictures, his wall was, of various, quote, hot chicks and exotic locals across the globe. This did not make me feel any easier when she was making this relationship to set up her parents at ease. But why did I care? It was her life. Perhaps it was because no one in our family has ever left Texas, much less leaving a country for good. Or perhaps it was just jealousy. I mean, anywhere I wound up with a house full of brats, sought of a husband. Maybe I wasn't to I was feeling. But that green-eyed monster was taking possession of my sanity. I wrote off all happy apprehensions and joined her multitude of friends and family, wishing her the best of luck on her new adventure. The first few weeks she was over there, I was beginning to have doubts that there was really even a relationship. She posted only 3 pictures. One of her new view, one of her on a horse-drawn carriage riding through some foreign park. The next one of her looking over a cliff. She looked thin, tired. She looked tired, thin, and did not look as happy as I expected her to be. It was almost as if she was disappointed with her new arrangement. She posted once or twice about the jet setting from one country to the next, following her lover around, but still there was never a picture of them together. And I noted there was something else about the 2 pictures she had posted of herself. She was fully covered, long sleeves, long pants. This was not like her usual fashionista self. She looked terribly drab and gaunt. But I figured out maybe it was just a cold and she had found a thrift shop or something to buy a few sweatshirts and jeggings. This still put out of character. But I knew the move was expensive, so I accepted my imaginings for the truth. And finally, after a full 2 months, yes, I was counting, she finally shared a picture of the two of them together on a kayak on some lake somewhere out there. I got another chill. As I studied the picture more closely, I noticed the unnatural way he held her or restrained her. Rather, I took a screenshot and sent it to her brother and asked him to tell me if he saw anything odd in the picture. He came back with something about the swan's head looking funny, and I knew it was lost on him. So again, I just fucking shrugged it off. I wish I hadn't. But then, she just went silent. No post. She was not answering pleas from her mom for an update. And it was when she ignored her lifelong best friend's plea for her to make contact with her immediately that I knew my worst fears may be coming into fruition. After a few weeks, with nary a word, my aunt and uncle launched an international investigation, declaring her missing and possibly in danger. They flew to Madrid and went to the address Monica had left with them and found it. It was just an empty warehouse. There was no sign that anyone had been in that building for ages, so they hit a dead end. The investigation led them to Brazil. Her fiancé was on location, filming his latest Spanish thriller, and this was where they found Monica. She was completely zoned out on a powerful cocktail of drugs and booze. She was dangerously underweight and covered from head to toe in cuts. And also fucking bruises. Her beautiful smile completely marred by broken teeth and busted lips. Her left eye was completely closed shut, swollen to the size of a fucking hard-boiled egg. Halved long ways. They only found her after arresting the Romero and threatening torture. International news exposure, and much more. He was awaiting sentencing, and his career is over, but the nightmares are never ending for Monica. Once she was safely back in Texas, we all tried our various ways to cheer her up, to bring her hope, to pull her out of this darkness that he left her in, this deep abyss of sadness. She was always such a dreamer, making all her wildest dreams come true, and instead woke up in a nightmare. Sadly, our attempts were in vain. Her parents recently and reluctantly admitted her into a nearby mental health home called Austin Oaks. My mom sat me down during a recent visit to fill me in on the latest heartbreaking news. Apparently, Monica was used as a sex slave, not by her Romero, but everyone else in his entourage. She was made to eat her own feces and vomit. She was made to sleep chained to a floor, naked, and one after another, all day, every day, the men would take their turns raping her. They kept her hopped up on drugs to numb the pain and kill her fight. The other archaic devices to further shock and torture her, and she barely slept, if ever. She was so broken, so deceived, so used and wasted that her therapists have told my aunt and uncle it will take years for her to recover, and she will never be the same vibrant self again. She sits silently in the dark room in the institution, with covers pulled tight over her head. No one can touch her, or she starts screaming like a fucking banshee and lashes out at whoever tries to come near to calm her. It breaks my heart to see her this way. I hate that I was ever jealous of her. Her misfortune has only made love, my boring life, and my horrible little family of monsters all the more. The husband, not so much. But this is another story for another day. Oh, and am I done dreaming? Am I going to get an office job and be done? Oddly enough, not only cannot find a single mention of his trial, I can also no longer find them anywhere. When I Google his name, his Facebook, his Twitter, Instagrams are also gone. I guess he wins the end, because no one will ever know what a sick, evil man he truly is. And before you bother, don't think you are going to get me to squeal. Might I think of what he did to my cousin? Names, local lists, professions, change for safety reasons. Send warm vibes to my cousin, Austin, please. Thank you. So, my friend and I like to sneak out at night. So far, we have gone out twice this week. And the first time was really cool. Nothing happened, though. Though the second time was a bit weird. When me and my friend meet, there is a road to get to each other's house. This road can be pretty busy at night. Not really, in a way. So there's this graveyard we meet at on the side of the road. I was standing there waiting for him, and then I see headlights. I go behind some bushes. It was a cop. That was close. Since I'm a minor, there was a curfew. So I'm just laying there behind some bushes. A few cars go by, and then I get a phone call. It's from my friend. I answer, then nothing but static and beeps. So I hung the fuck up, creep out. I come out of the bushes, no cars, and I see my friend. In the distance, he said, "Were you trying to scare me or something?" I said, "No, I could not hear you." And then he said, "All I heard was a little girl talking or something. It was really quiet." And then it sounded like she was mumbling, but in a different language. And I said what I heard. We got really creeped out. And keep in mind, we live in a really safe suburban neighborhood. People leave their bikes out. Tell me what you think below. I tried calling him again, and it worked. I called him again, and it just worked 100% fucking fine. So my friend and I snuck out one night at like 3 a.m. to this park that was kind of close to his house. It was summer, need I remind. So, it was pitch black. We were both sitting and talking the whole time. I felt kind of creeped out and kept getting random goosebumps. But I didn't say anything to him. I also kept seeing weird shadows in the corner of my eye, just darting back and forth. I also didn't mention this to him because I thought I was seeing things and there was no one anywhere. He tells me he keeps seeing black shadows in the corner of his eyes. I got really freaked out and I told him I was seeing the same thing. I got so scared, my eyes started to water, so we both decided we should leave and book it. This park had a large empty field of grass. Around it was trees and then a fence kind of closing it off, but there was a space to get out and it led to a street. So we started walking through that large field. While walking, I kept feeling like someone was right behind me. We both started booking it again. In the distance, I thought I saw a shadow of a man just standing there. I stopped him and asked if he saw it too. He did see it, and it wasn't disappearing, so we thought it was an actual person. The closer we got, the more we realized the figure didn't have a face. It was just pitch black shadow. So we ran off. I haven't been to that park ever since. Number 2. So my friend and I like to sneak out at night. So far, we have gone out twice this week, and the first time was really cool. Nothing happened, although the second time was a bit weird. When me and my friend meet there's a road to get to each other's house. And this road can be pretty busy at night. Not really, anyway. There's this graveyard. We meet, and on the side of the road, I was standing there waiting for him, and then I see headlights go behind some bushes. I go behind some bushes. It was a cop. That was close. Since I'm a minor, there is a curfew, so I'm just laying down behind some bushes. A few cars go by, and then I get a phone call from my friend. I answer, nothing but static and beeps, so I hung up. I come out of the bushes, no cars, and I see my friend. In the distance, he said, "Were you trying to scare me or something?" "No, I could not hear you," I said. "You," and then all I heard was the little girl talking or something. It was really quiet. It sounded like she was mumbling, but in a different language. And I said what I heard, and we got really creeped out. Keep in mind, we live in a really safe suburb. Live in a really safe suburb. People leave their bikes out. Tell me what you think below. I tried